Okay, so we're going to give it a couple of minutes to watch people come on. And I'm also going to pull it up so that I could see this on the screen over here because I'm blind as a bat. There we go. Boom. Okay, that way I can read this stuff over here. So just give it a few minutes here. As you can see, it's just me right tonight. John is not feeling well. Hi, Dana. But that's okay because we got this covered. My guest tonight is going to be Colleen Graves. She's a practicing witch. We're bringing her on to talk about, as John would say, magic stones or crystals or things that we're going to get into the digging of it. But real quick, I want to introduce Colleen. Colleen is a very important part of New Jersey Paranormal's team. She brings an aspect that the rest of us lack. And she is a practicing witch, like I said before. She has knowledge and understanding and practicing for well over 40 years, correct, Colleen?
Yeah, almost 40. I'm going to be 50. I started at probably the age of 14.
So there are things that when I started doing the metaphysical part of what I do, I lack a certain knowledge on this type of thing, and this is why I felt it important to bring Colleen in because she adds another whole dimension of it. And it's always good to have different things from different people. And if I'm not saying hi to everybody, I'm like so sorry because I'm like on my own. So everybody that's in the room right now, welcome and welcome to this discussion. I think this is kind of a unique and different discussion. I have a lot of questions myself because there are things I don't understand, but I'm going to give you a little bit of history about Colleen and my connection. Colleen and I met many years ago at an event where they were doing EVPs around the table, and one of the psychic mediums there stated, "Who are you going to follow home?" And I don't use my birth name. And when they played the recording, it said my birth name, and I got freaked out. So Colleen gave me something to, because she knew I was freaked out and I had things to do the event. And when I came home to the apartment, I have double doors for security. There's the outside because there's a 4 family. That door is locked. Came in through that door, but my apartment door was wide open. And all the drawers in my kitchen were open. So, needless to say, Colleen got a call and I was freaked out. So, we don't allow anybody to ask those questions anymore. But this is my connection with Colleen. Colleen is compassionate, kind. She's very well rounded in the information that she shares. And I think it's really important for what we do. So, that having said, maybe you would like to add to what you're about and why we're here tonight, Colleen.
Uh, been a practicing witch since I was 14. It just felt like I was brought up Catholic, Roman Catholic, in Catholic school. It just didn't feel right. And a lot of people kind of turn around and go, "You grew up not playing in mud, making, magic potions in mud," and it shows. And I did. I played in mud. I played out in the ocean. My grandparents' backyard was actually the beach in Brooklyn. I loved animals. They used to laugh. I would be, 3 years old and picking up one of the feral cats and walking it around, but it went near nobody else. So I always had an animal connection. I had a child connection. And as I got older and I realized, you know what, the religion I was brought up on just didn't fit right. And when I started, there was little bookstores like B. Dalton. And if you wanted a book on witchcraft, it was all the way in the back, bottom shelf, and it was called Occult. Ooh.
Hidden sections. Is that what you're trying to say? That
Pretty
dirty little
much.
secret.
It was a dirty little secret. And I actually still have many of my first books. They fell apart a bit, but I still keep them. They're a lot of spell books. It probably took until I was in my later teens to actually start realizing that when I stepped on different rocks on riverbeds, I would get different energies coming from it. But it was tingling.
What do
So I
you
didn't.
okay, so I'm gonna stop you right there. What do you mean by energies?
For me, energy comes through as colors and tinglings.
Oh.
So when I would step on different colored stones, I would be up in upstate New York, right across the water. It was on the Delaware River. Right across the water was Pennsylvania. So I spent a good portion of my childhood when we went camping at the river, constantly at the river. And I was, with the small animals, tiny little frogs. I remember getting up early in the morning and you would go and watch the sunrise with my mom. I remember one time going up there and I'm swinging on the swing set and I'm watching a bear just ramble by. It looked at me and just kept on going. I was like, wow, that's kind of weird. But the fish would come up and it was just kind of odd the way things were going. I never felt an attraction to talk to people. I wanted to be with the animals. I wanted to be in the forest.
So
I
you're of
wanted,
the nature.
oh, definitely. I definitely prefer it. I
So it's
always
kind
took
of
comfort
unique. I'm
I
sorry,
took
but
comfort in I took comfort in the graveyards. I took comfort in the trees. I loved holding on to a tree. I loved sitting there and just looking at a flower and watch it move. It was just
okay, so
weird.
you do realize the two separate things there. Nature and graveyard. Life, living, death. Is that a typical two sides of the coin equation for you in your practice as a
It,
witch?
if you are a witch, you know there's a light side and a dark side. There are people that are witches, and then there are people that call themselves light workers, and they don't work with anything dark, including pretty much death, unless it's to ease them over to the other side. But for me, it was always death was always a part of life, and I don't know why. To me, it just seemed always there. Like I have never really been afraid of it. I've been afraid of how I would die, and the two ways that I've always been afraid of was burning and drowning. And it wasn't until later on that I was doing so much more reading and research that that's how they killed them, burning and
So I do
drowning.
I do have to I do have to tell you is that we have a little gnome that popped in and said, "Who are these people, Mr. John Ruggiero, who's supposed to be resting?"
Hey,
But
John, I got a stone for that.
you got a stone for that, and we're going to get into that real hot and heavy. The real quick thing I want to say when you said energy and the fact that you saw the colors and like the tingles. So we're talking when we talk about energy, we're talking about the way that your body reacts,
Hmm.
your psyche, whatever, to whatever you're exposed to. So kind of real quick, and I'm going to show you something really cool, and I don't know if it's because of an experience that created this bond. So I'm going to put this out to you with your knowledge and stuff because I don't. When I was 17, I was a night auditor and teller at a big international airport. And I worked with two elderly gentlemen that were in booths next to me when we were taking flights in the wee hours of the morning that would come in. And one of the gentlemen actually fell into cardiac arrest, and I had to give him CPR until the ambulance got there. And he ended up making it, which they said was remarkable. And he came back, and what he did was he gifted me with, and I still have it to this day in a box, an uncut rough amethyst. And I didn't know anything about stones or what they represented. I just thought it was unique that this man who almost died gave me credit for helping save his life, and he came back to thank me and he gave me this uncut stone. And I'm like, okay. I didn't know what it meant or what it was for, but I am very drawn to amethyst. There's
Yep.
something about amethyst that resonates with me, and I've never understood it. I don't know if it's a connection to that or if it means something else. So maybe you can start getting into the whole big dynamics of why these crystals and why are they so important and why do they mean so much to us?
Amethyst, they say, is like a main healer. Anytime anyone comes into the shop I work at, they're like, I need something for healing. 90% of the time, they're going to be attracted to amethyst. Unfortunately for me, for as long as I've practiced, I think amethyst is absolutely beautiful, but it does absolutely nothing for me energy wise to do any kind of healing work. Don't know why. It just, my energy does not match amethyst. But I can work with something called Dream Amethyst, which has the amethyst, the smoky quartz, and the clear quartz. And I can work with Chevron Amethyst, which is clear quartz and the amethyst. But for some reason, just plain amethyst, we don't get along. And that's fine. But I try to explain to people, when you come in for a healing stone and someone goes, "Oh, you need an amethyst," they're thinking that because it's considered one of the main healing stones. And I get that. I do. But if you're going to turn around and tell me that so and so did something because they're such and such sign, you're telling me that the energies are different. All these stones have different energies. Sometimes they don't mix, just like you could put two people in a room, they don't get along, but all of a sudden someone's best friend comes in and it's different. It's energies on how they mix.
And
So what
it
my
doesn't mean
energy,
anything bad. I mean,
oh, absolutely
it's
not.
just the dynamics, right?
Exactly. Have
Because
you
I
ever
don't
like,
want somebody to think that if they go and get a stone that doesn't connect to them, that means that it's a bad sign or something. It's not. It's just the basic chemical reaction or energy of what you're dealing with. So you talk about energy and stones, and this is the one thing that it kind of blows my mind, and why I did bring you in to be a part of what we do, is you understand the different elements of what things mean and why it's important for some of these stones to be used. And a perfect example, I was given two stones. I have no idea what their makeup is and what they carry in my pocket. You just saw that little blackout for a second,
yeah.
right? Uh-huh. I don't know what that was about, but no surprise. And to put them in my pocket to carry around, it was because I was under a lot of pain and I was having a hard time walking. And
Mhm.
I don't know if it was psychosomatic or what, but it actually helped. And I actually have them in my drawer next to my bed.
I think a lot of it, yes, their energy, but I think a lot of it gives us something tangible to hold on to go, okay, you're going to help heal me. And I think a lot of it just gives you that positive attitude. You know, like John had that thing on Facebook that he was willing himself
Yes.
better.
Yes.
For many of us who believe in the energy of the stones, we believe that our energy and the energy of our stones are going to help us get through the rougher times or going to help us heal. Uh, there are certain stones that just ward off nightmares. There are certain stones that ward off bad energy, and especially the black stones. Black stones are excellent for that. Some people are like, well, you have to get such and such black stone to do that. If it doesn't work with your energy, pick a different black stone, because
So
black
it
kind
doesn't.
of
So when
repels
somebody
it.
tells you this stone is all right, let's take tiger eye, because at least everybody knows what a tiger eye is, right? The
Mhm.
brown with a little bit marbly look to it. And everybody says this is the thing that protects you, right?
The, the black in it protects you, the brown in it grounds you, which also causes you to have even better protection. Grounding meaning you're bringing yourself to the energies of the earth.
So when we talk about these things, and why can't I just go outside right now and pick up a stone that's on the ground and
You
say
could.
it'll do all of that too? Can I technically, almost like when I put on a cross, and if my religion is Catholic and I'm practicing and I put all my belief into that cross and I put my faith in it and I give it power, is that what we're doing essentially with crystals, or is there something more to it?
There's more to it because of the energy of the actual stone or crystal.
Okay.
Like there's it's an actual mineral called selenite. It cleanses and charges your stones, but it's a mineral. It's not a stone. It actually dissolves in soda, and if it sits out in water for too long, it'll dissolve in that too. But some use it for grounding. I can use this one because it's more of a point. I can use this as a wand, and all the wand does is point energy in that particular direction. So that
What,
works.
really? It point you, so you can point it in a direction like a wand?
Right.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
I have athames, I have crystal wands, which I've actually used at some of our events when I'm trying, if there's going to be a ton of people and I want them all protected, I will point a crystal wand in the directions of each direction, call in those directions, those elements, what I call watchtowers, which means I'm calling in all the gods and goddesses and guardian angels and whoever that is associated for each direction. But I'm pointing my energy into that direction to bring up a wall.
So, do you have stones around you now that you can kind of like show and tell people what they are? Because I'm going to be honest with you, unless it's the basic, like everybody knows, like the amethyst, the tiger eye, and the onyx black stone, I really don't understand and know the crystals.
Okay, we have, this is blue apatite,
Okay. So, it's got
very
that
beautiful.
blue.
Right. This is good for any type of addictions, whether it's food, drugs, any kind of addiction. This will help you fight through your addictions. Let's see.
And again, when you say that, because it's a stone, it's something that's hard. It's like, what is it about that stone that creates it? Is it releasing something that when it's around you, or
I believe totally it connects to that inner part of you that you have locked down that caused that addiction. It unlocks it and helps give you the strength to beat your addiction.
okay.
Now this, it's called Dalmatian Jasper. I actually have a few of them together, a few different skulls together. It's kind of like off-white with black. I'm going the wrong direction. Off-white with black spots.
Okay.
That stone has actually been known to communicate with other stones. So I actually have them together for some people that need a little extra protection. I'll have one, and the other three will each have their own. That stone has what they say. The research I've done on it is it can actually wake you up when somebody who has one of those connecting stones is in trouble. Something about the energy of that stone will wake you up because it's now still connected to the other stones. So they actually talk, so it's more of a very protective stone.
So, okay. So, what I'm thinking in my brain, connecting the dots here, it's almost like somebody who has a psychic medium ability who can do remote readings because they're connecting to
Exactly.
that energy. But now you've got stones of the earth that are actually doing it for you.
And what was funny is when I bought them, they came as like a plus. The person I bought it from, she was like, well, if you buy these, they're $3 each and I'll ship them for free. I was like, well, I have no real love of Dalmatian Jasper. It's kind of cute, but okay. And I got them 2-3 years ago, never really used them. Then some people that I know that are very close, one of them is having some issues. So I said I would charge them. I would give us each one. They're going to pick which ones they want. I'm going to put them in a bag. They're going to reach in with their energy, pick the one that calls to them. And that's how we're going to use it. I said, you leave it next to your bed. If someone's in trouble, the stone will actually wake you up.
Wow. So here's another question, because we're always talking about when you go into a crystal shop, and first of all, it's very overwhelming because there's so many, and some of them are absolutely gorgeous,
Hmm.
absolutely stunning stones. So are we picking them because we're attracted to how they look? Or are we picking them? I mean,
Honestly, this is what I tell people. They come in and they're like, oh, I want such and such a stone. And you know the shop. You've seen pictures of it. There are tons of each type of stone. I'm like, all right, look at it. Now walk away. I'm going to come up to you in a few minutes. You tell me which one you can't get out of your mind. That's the one that your energy now connected to. You
so
now
it's
have
the
connection to
actual,
that.
it's the energy of the stone that's reaching out to you, not the other way
Right.
around.
No, it's not. I do have some that I just find pretty. I do. You disappeared again.
All
There
right.
you is. There you are.
There's some funky business going on.
Oh, I got to tell you about the stuff going on in this house. There are some that people just look at it and like, oh, it's pretty. Okay, if it's pretty and you like it, buy it. You never know. It could be 2 years down the line. That's when all of a sudden the connection hits. I also tell people they're like, I'm attracted to this stone. I normally am not, but I'm attracted to this stone. I'm gonna buy it. And I tell them, I said, all right, you're attracted to it, but how do you know that you're not going to meet someone down the line that needs that particular stone for something? They'll never find the shop. You'll meet them and go, hey, I found this stone. I think you need it. And that's the one they wanted. That's the one they needed. And they kind of like, I believe at times they actually can tell when they're needed in the future. And they'll call out to someone who's going to be able to find it.
What is the significance of, okay, one, I've personally seen, and again, I'm not educated in this, and I would never put myself out there because I have the basic knowledge of what most people do, not a lot. And that's why I would never, and you know me when it comes to that, I won't give people misinformation. But their crystals are used in pendulums,
Hmm.
and we you and I have talked about this, and the Reiki uh, chakras and all of that stuff that you have. You've brought so many different pendulums to the thing. I once had somebody say, how do you tell the fakes? Because there's so many fakes out there that you buy off of different sites and stuff. And how do you know what's real? What did differentiate the difference that we me mortals can tell?
They say that some stones, when you put them against fire, they don't get hot. Me, I totally go by the energy. If I feel a vibration, I'm going for it. But these are the sometimes, even if they're fakes, because a lot of citrines are actually heat treated amethysts. All right, so the molecular kind of got a little mixed up with the heat. So go for it. You can't always be like, oh, that's a fake. The ones that I don't like are if you're going for a super stupid expensive stone, kind of like how Moldavite became very popular a few years ago,
Yeah.
still is. That's an asteroid. That was part of an asteroid. But they're saying, well, this helps clear the negativity out of your life and you need it. And I don't think you really need that because sometimes I think it pulls maybe the rug out from under your feet and you're not ready. But I've saw a
So
lot of people come in and it's glass.
so stones can actually have the opposite effect of what you're looking for.
They can do one thing I tell people about witchcraft when you're casting a spell, be very specific. Don't leave a door open for something else to sneak through.
And
They
stones can
go,
create that.
right. You go, I want change. Okay. Your house burns down, you lose your job. Okay, you got your change. Maybe you should a little bit more specific on what you were asking for.
So when you talk about spells, but we're talking about the crystals. What do you mean in the aspect when it comes down to the crystals? Why could you bring that upon you by having certain crystals?
It moves the energy around you. It I totally see stones, certain stones change people's auras kind of way. Like they can go from very grumpy and upset, and all of a sudden they have a stone in their hand, and all of a sudden they're very lighthearted. All of a sudden, they're ecstatic about life, and that's the energy of the stone mixing with theirs and kind of lifting them up. I found that with Moldavite, if especially with the younger generations, the teens and the early 20s, they're fighting anxiety, they're fighting depression. A lot of these kids came back and went, I can't sleep. I'm having nightmares. I'm like, wrap the stone up and put it away from you. Don't leave it near your bed. They're saying their nightmares are horrible. Don't leave it near your bed. If you want change, make your own change. I'm sure Moldavite works really well for some people, but I found that if they have mental issues, it didn't work so well for them.
So, like we're talking about the different stones, and I'm not even going to profess to know all of them. Like I said, I know the basic quartz, tiger eye, your onyx stone, tremoli, stuff like this. What are some of the more, because it's becoming more and more knowledge. There are more stores out there. There's more availability to many kinds of stones. Why are stones so important? Why are we so drawn to them? Why do we, I mean, let's be honest here, okay? Why are we going out and buying these? Why do we need them?
I find that most people are not grounded. They are not going back to nature even the tiniest bit. They are constantly go, go, go on their phones, on their computers, playing games. they're finding themselves all over the place. You're finding people constantly saying, oh, I have ADHD, I have ADD, I have this, I have that. But they're also not going out and quieting their minds. When you grab a stone and put it in your pocket, you're putting a piece of earth in your pocket, holding it in your hands, and you're kind of grounding yourself that way. And you're getting rid of some of that bad energy, and it's actually going into the crystal. And some
So
of them
I'm
actually
gonna
clear themselves.
and I because this term is used a lot, Colleen, and you know where I come from when I ask you the questions. When we say grounding, what do we mean by that?
We are energy, but we kind of float around. When you're grounded, you're kind of you're easing your heartbeat. You're getting rid of the negative ions running through your system. They've done experiments where someone actually put a wire into the ground, let it up into their bedroom, a metal wire, and put it on a mat for their feet. They actually started healing quicker than before. Earth has a lot of energy. You've seen it in a lot of the times when I do the little meditation ahead of time, and I tell people, put your feet flat on the floor, feel Mother Earth, the energy coming through. That's all grounding. I tell people, go out and walk around barefoot. Go sit against a tree. There are people that are more into water. All right, go for a water walk with your shoes off at a river, at a stream, to the beach. Beach is very protective. It's got salt in that water.
So I'm not a water baby. I'm terrified of water. Many experience of near drowning. I'm not a fan. I'm like, keep me out. No. But so it is about what you're drawn to. I'm a forest girl. I love the mountains. I love that's my peace. That's where I reconnect and everything just falls away. So you're basically saying find the part of that works for you and calls to you and lets you. So grounding is about finding yourself, your true self, and bringing it down to that level again, right?
Right. Getting the energy from Mother Earth, those positive ions coming up into your body and breathing out the negative ones. We're full of energy, but sometimes we're just so full of negative energy. We get it from our phones. It's not just
So
emotional.
no, you're right. And we're disconnecting from people too. I think we're
Mm.
disconnecting from our empathy and our compassion to connect with other people, and that's not good because our energies do feed off of each other. We do need each other, and when we put up
We-
those walls and disconnect, I think that's what makes us so discontent with what's going on.
Have you heard the term energy vampire?
Oh God, yes.
Okay. I find so many of these people that are energy vampires, they're not grounded. They don't have that energy coming up. They don't have that new energy from the earth. So, in order to get that energy, they suck yours out. They suck someone else's out. They drain you of your good energy and it boosts them. Narcissists do the same thing.
Misery loves company.
Yes, that's very true.
That's the terminology. If I'm miserable, you need to be miserable. We're all miserable. If I'm doing it, you're doing it, then it's acceptable. It's kind of the way life works, right? But
Yep.
I always challenge, and you know me, you will never know, only people very close to me, the different challenges I deal with every day and what my true inner deals with. But I never project that out because the world has so much of that. I am deeply affected by other people and what they go through. Always have been, always will be. I don't shut it out. I don't think it's um, a cross to bear. I think it just means that I wasn't heard, but I'll hear you. I think it's important in this world, even if I don't know you. If you need to be heard, I'll listen to you. And I
Right.
think that's what crystals do too. I think crystals listen to your energy, your core of who you are.
Exactly, which is why you could be attracted to one type and not another. Now, you just said a few minutes ago, you love amethyst. And I said, amethyst, main healer. You are a healer. You're an emotional healer. How you emotionally heal people is you let them be heard, you let them be seen, and you let them know, I hear you, I have empathy, or I have sympathy. One or the other or both. People don't get there's a difference between sympathy and empathy.
There
Sympathy is
is.
you can feel bad for them. Empathy is I know what you've been through and let me take your hand. I've had so many people come in and go, I could have sworn this was the light at the end of the tunnel and it was just a candle and I have more of the tunnel to go through. So I turn around and look at them and I go, well, there was a candle. Well, yeah. And it was lit. Well, yeah. Which means there was someone ahead of you that's been through this. Find that person, connect with them. They'll help you get through the tunnel. You're not as alone as you feel.
No, because let's be honest. We all can come up with trauma stories and horror stories and different things that have happened in our lives that make us who we are. And it's not new. The things that you could think of what you could do to a human being, whether it be psychologically, physically, mentally, emotionally, we've all
Spiritually.
some worse than others on different scales. But there is, when you connect and you start listening to people, you find out you have more in common, more of a connection than you realize. Even people that you bang your heads. Perfect example. Me and my daughter, my youngest daughter, are so much alike. We bump heads. And it's because she is me telling me what I already know and I don't want to hear
Yeah,
it.
I get
And
it.
vice versa. I'm hearing myself in stereo. Nobody likes that. But we're checkpoints for each other. And this is what I mean. We need to start connecting. And this is the stones, I think, are, and the crystals are what do that. I think it gives us a reason. And the other thing I want to bring up to you, because it's pretty cool when it comes to the quality of crystals, is you can actually feel, like you said, vibrations or see colors depending on how in tune you are and open. You can feel warmth, you can feel
Hmm.
colds, but yet there's a uniqueness of when I walk around and I see crystals that are carved into shapes. Why is that a thing?
A lot of it is just, in all honesty, I think a lot of it sells. For me, I like certain shapes. Now, for years, I worked with dragon magic. People are going to say dragons don't exist. That's your thought. But we go into associative magic here. When you see a skull, it might remind you of an ancestor you want to talk to. Now you have something tangible besides a picture to put down and talk to them. It just makes life maybe a little bit easier, a little bit calmer. A lot of the pyramids, either you're drawing energy down with it to send it out through the corners, or you're asking it to take the bad energy up and send it up into the universe. A lot of pointed ones we can use as wands. We have kyanite, which is shaped. Yep, here we go. Kyanite, pretty little kyanite. This one's actually aura coated,
Come over
but it's
further with it.
actually
I'm at that. There we go.
called the witch's broom. It wipes
That's what
away.
it looks like.
Exactly. So it actually kind of sweeps away negative energy. So some people are just always going towards certain stones, and you kind of look at them and go, okay. You might have a girl that comes in and she's constantly going for every moonstone she sees. All right, she's getting in touch with her feminine side. She's having some problems connecting with it. Someone comes in, oh, I need labradorite. Oh, I love labradorite. It's my favorite thing. Okay, labradorite's the stone of transformation. You're changing your life. You're changing things. Maybe you're changing your views or changing for a new job. Let's see, what else do I have? Well, there's the penises. We talked about that. And there are, vajayjays, but that can always be used for any kind of fertility. Maybe you know someone who's having a hard time getting pregnant. You can use that to send the energy to help with their pregnancy. It's definitely worked for a few of my friends. I have
Someone just
crystal
said,
dragons.
Maritza said, rose quartz in the shape of a heart for self love. So, like
Any
a
kind of
nice
rose quartz.
reminder. Yeah,
Yep.
that's pretty cool.
I have my big old rose quartz sphere.
There you go.
And rose quartz comes from almost clear and see through to very bright pink. She hangs out
Is
with my goddess.
is there a stone that helps you to open up to others? Because let's be honest, when you go through these things and life is tough, and you're dealing with struggles, whether it be bills, whether it be, keeping a roof over your head, food on the table, everyday family stuff, problems of life. And we close off because of it. We shut down. We get so focused on over here, we forget about people over there. Are there stones that can open you up to be more open to others?
For that, I would go towards more of a less see-through purple. I find the see-through purples, the fluorites, the amethyst, that's very much for physical healing. But when you go towards lepidolite and some of the more less clear, more dense, I find that's more for emotional healing.
Okay.
And when you emotionally heal a little bit, you can then open up to others.
Makes its logic sense. So before we came on live, you talked about the gargoyles
Hmm.
and what you practice where you are right now. And you put things, could you kind of explain why and what for and what does that mean?
My boyfriend has the belief that gargoyles protect the home or any place you are, which is why a lot of churches have them on the outside looking at the doors. Gargoyles protect from negative energies, which I thought, okay, that's cool. And what did I start finding? But carved gargoyles in different stones. Now he's starting to get into the stones. He doesn't always remember, which is fine. I have no problem sitting down and go, okay, this is for this is for this. So little by little, I have purchased probably maybe 15 to 20 different gargoyles, from large to small, and they are all over the house. And what's funny is he leaves before me on Monday mornings. He goes to work before me. So what I do is if I've found some at my job at Tina's, what I'll do is I'll start hiding them all over the house. And, throughout the day, I'll get, the next day I might get, babe, what's this? Like this, he actually found one I hid Monday morning, finally found it yesterday. And it was in the spice rack.
Little unique things.
I hide them all over. Put it this way, I have crystals in the bathroom. I have them in the bedroom. I have them in the living room. I have them in the kitchen. He gave me a witch room, so I have them all over my witch room. So yeah, they're in the living room. They're by the fireplace. They're all over.
So obviously he's never ever been like associated with this type of,
No,
have things changed for him since you started doing this and he's been open to it?
he's very open to it. And what's even better is his friends are too,
Has
which
it
I love.
changed anything? Have you seen a change within the environment, himself?
I see a big difference in him, and so does everyone who knows him. He's happier. He's calmer. He's he smiles more, and that's one thing everyone says is he smiles more. So he's much happier. He loves having the protective crystals throughout the bedroom, throughout the house. I mean,
So
he
it's
gets such a kick out of it.
it's not you, it's the crystals.
That's what I say. But you know what? I keep him on his toes. I mean, John knows. I tend to pop out of nowhere. I've done it to John I don't know how many times,
Oh,
and
I
it's not
know.
even on purpose.
No, you just fade in and out.
Yeah,
It's the
he
only way to
swears.
describe it.
He swears I glide throughout the house.
You
Like I'm
do.
there one minute and gone the next, and he hasn't figured it out.
So, being that you're a practicing witch for as long as you have, is there is there a leg up compared to a normal person like me when it comes to this? Are there more of a connection for you because of what you do and you're based in energy, you're based in Mother Earth in your practice? We were talking before and you said that you pull from pagan, you pull from, and I don't think people really understand that being a practicing witch, it's not like the Hollywood version.
No, it's not. Unfortunately, I can't go Garvia Leviosa and something lifts up. I mean, it's very unfortunate. But you know what? It's not that I have a leg up, but it's my belief system. Just like you said before, if you were Catholic and wear a cross, you feel protected.
Yep.
Okay, so I am a witch. I wear a pentacle somewhere on here. There's my pentacle, and there's a picture of my goddess. They're my protection. So my crystals are my protection. They're my happy place. Um, I might turn around and like on a bad day come in and just walk around my room and something just keeps calling me. I'll find it, go to it, and then kind of sit there and meditate with it for a little while. Light some candles, light some incense. Usually I don't have the lights on. I just have the candles burning. But I don't have a leg up. It's just that's my belief system. So it makes me better, feel better. Not makes me better, makes me feel better. Where for maybe a Catholic, it's praying the rosary.
Hi, Satori. I hope you're feeling better. It's good to see you on here too. Satori, you're more than welcome to pop in some knowledge. We're talking about crystals and stuff, which I know nothing about. This lovely witch right here does, Colleen's, and I know you do. So anything you would want to share with everybody, this is what we're talking about tonight. The other thing too is a perfect example, and John's talked about it before. He wears the tiger eyes around, and the what is the silver glossy one?
That's hematite.
He would wear that, and we've actually had it happen where it's exploded when
There's
we've been
hematite
out.
rings. There's hematite rings, and I stopped wearing them to the dealership because I was going through one a day. It absorbs negative energy until it actually just explodes.
And why
So
does
I'd be
it do
what
that?
it's protecting you. It's got a force field up. It finally cracks and just hits the floor.
Well, that's kind of scary, because it's like when I say exploded, I don't mean it just popped and fell. We were at a restaurant and went boom, and it was tinging off the windows across it. We had an officer sitting at the counter, and when it went bing, like everybody reacted.
Yeah, yeah. But
And
hematite,
that's,
that's hematite explodes.
yeah, well, I didn't know about that. And for someone who doesn't believe in them, he wears it religiously. He said he's
Oh, he does.
superstitious.
Yeah,
So
he does.
I kind of think it's funny when we go back to that. Are there other things that you could share to us with us to make us understand why crystals are what they are, and why I mean, and I definitely want to get into about pendulums, and I've seen what you've done with pendulums, because I just use normal stones that they're not real, and when you bring in yours, there seems to be a change that happens.
I stopped, or I tried to stop putting particular pendulums in certain areas. I prefer when someone goes and picks the pendulum they're attracted to, just like the mirrors, because that also gives me a clue on what's going on in their life, believe it or not. If
So
they're picking certain
subconsciously,
ones.
they're the stone and them are connecting, and that's revealing something
Exactly.
to you. Because
But
I
not only
do
that,
know the pendulum does reveal people's personalities.
it does. But also, I have one pendulum that's actually herbs. There's no stones in it.
Can you read
Herbs.
the comments?
I can't.
Satori just said, "Well, this is a great topic. Fun fact: my engagement ring is a Miss Agate for stability, a positive new start, growth, happiness, and that heart chakra. Oh,
I am so glad.
moss agate.
Moss agate? Where's my moss agate? I have it all over. I don't know where it is right now. But I do have moss agate. I have a lot of ocean jasper too. Moss agate is actually one of my favorites. Moss
Really?
agate Moss agate's one of my favorites, and so is ocean jasper. I just wish the ocean jasper actually worked for me for seasickness, but I don't think there's a damn thing that'll help me with that. I don't think anything will help me with seasickness. I'm
Did,
constantly seasick.
are you drawn to water, or is water something you're repelled from?
I love water. I grew up in the water. Growing up, I wanted to find the Titanic. Robert Ballard, you ruined my life. Thank you very much. I actually remember where I was when it was announced he found the Titanic. I was very disappointed in him because I wanted to find it first. But my grandparents lived in Brooklyn. Their backyard was the bay. And I grew up swimming constantly. And even we had a pool in my back. I'm looking for ocean jasper. I just can't find it at the moment. Growing up, I spent most summers swimming, and if I wasn't swimming in the ocean at my grandparents', I was swimming in the pool or I was swimming in the Delaware River.
Hmm,
Aha! I found it.
you found it.
I found a
Please
moss
let
agate.
us see. Oh, wow.
And if you whoop, wrong way again. There's the
That
regular. It's green. Now you'll see this. Where is it? The sparkly. That's
Yeah.
called a jersey, which is very pretty.
It's got, so it has a lot of elements to it.
Yep, moss agate's very grounding. Very grounding. Yep, definitely love moss agate.
So, like I said, when you came in and you brought in all these different pendulums that had stones, the one thing that we do have to talk about, because I think it's kind of important, why the chakra stones? Why are they so critical?
The belief is there are 7 main energy sources, which each are associated with a color. So if one of those energy sources is blocked, you're blocked. You don't have free flow of your energies at the same time. A lot of the pendulum chains have the seven colors, the 7 stones.
So if you were to sit down and try to use that, if you have a block, it would not move for you, or it would not.
It's going to try to start removing the block. It's going to try to start move things around to get your energy up moving again, and that'll cause the pendulum to move along with you.
Have you ever dealt with we talk about the stone and the energies that can repel or draw people. Has there ever been someone you've come across that stones and crystals, just for whatever reason, none of them work for them and they're just not able to use them?
Yes, definitely.
Why is that?
Their energies go more towards a different direction. It could be that they're, excuse me, Lucy, but I was sitting there. I guess I'm not sitting there anymore. Their energies might go towards more, say, herbs. They prefer to keep herbs around them.
Huh.
Some people
So
just put a total block and they don't want to believe that pretty stone will actually help them at all.
it's an optical thing instead of an actual
Feeling.
enhancement too. Laura actually had a really good question. Did you say any crystal or stone that help people with cancer?
I would definitely go with the purples for healing. Now, mind you, you have clear quartz. It's probably the most popular stone you ever could find. I love to tell people clear quartz. You think of it this way. It's clear. It's got nothing, no clue what to do with its energy. You take some sage, you clear everyone else's energy off of it. You put it in your hands. You tell that stone exactly what you need. I need help battling this. I need help getting help. I need help finding people to talk to. You put the intent into that stone and that will work. Maybe instead of the amethyst, if amethyst isn't working for you, go for the purple fluorite. There are so many different type of purple stones. Even though I said, the lepidolite is good for emotional, cancer is very emotionally damaging to everybody.
Yeah.
You can get a piece of that too. But say you don't have a lot of pockets, you don't want to carry around a lot. Get that clear quartz. Not only that, but clear quartz is actually known as the master healer. It heals.
So it's like the ace in the deck of
Right.
stones.
Yep. I tell people all the time, listen, you don't have to have a lot of money to practice witchcraft. Be a witch on a budget. You don't have the money to collect hundreds of stones. Okay, get a few pieces that you're drawn to, but make sure one of them's clear quartz. Make sure you have black and white candles, because white candles can be put towards anything. Black ones are always good for protection. You don't need every single color. Does it help? It helps you concentrate on what you want to concentrate on.
Do you
But
have to do
again,
a certain, all right, so if you're using these stones and you're using for the healing, the properties that each stone represents to each person, is there something that you need to do to take care of the stone to make sure that it stays energized? Does it drain? Does it recharge? What is there a care you have to do with a stone or a
you
crystal?
can you can definitely get a piece of selenite. Selenite's a cleanser and a charger. It will cleanse your stone of any bad energy. It will also charge it. Full moon. I don't care if it's cloudy. I don't care if there's a hurricane coming through. Actually, a hurricane coming through would actually give it even more energy. But people are like, I didn't put my stones out this full moon. It was cloudy. It doesn't matter. It's the energy. You don't need the light to have the energy. The energy is right there. Use it. The energy of a full moon will definitely boost your stones at the
Nothing
same
stops
time.
Mother Nature. Mother Nature
No.
is everywhere. Somebody had a really good question, and I have to go back to it to ask you, Colleen, because I thought that
Hmm.
was pretty good. Jen said, any crystals help if you're very sensitive to spirits and live in a very haunted house.
That's when you're going to go in with the black stones. You're definitely going to go into the black stones. You're going to go with your, black kyanite. You're going to go with labradorite, obsidian. I have one of my favorites called mahogany obsidian. Think of it
See,
as
if I were to
obsidian.
look at that, that would make me think it's tiger eye or something.
No, it's mahogany obsidian. Think of it as obsidian on steroids.
Oh, okay.
It's
See?
actually one of my favorite stones. I have them actually all over his house because, in all actuality, Anton's house has some guests.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. So, Patricia wanted to know if sunlight can also charge.
Sunlight can charge, but it also will bleach out your stones.
Colette says that selenite charges all your crystals,
It does.
but you have
Selenite
to
will
keep
charge
that
everything.
charged, right?
Selenite's its own charge.
Wow, its own charge.
It's its own charge. It doesn't need to be charged. Think of it as the jump starter for everything else.
Huh.
Now, I would say 2 years ago, I had gotten a remember, different stones, different energies match different people. I can wear obsidian all day long, but there's some others that when I wear it, for some reason they explode. I don't know if it's my multiple personality disorder.
Or maybe it's for the fact is, and I think that most people that know you know that you give your shirt off your back for anybody around you to help them. You do very little self-care. You do more outer care for others.
Well, that's like a lot of times before an event, and I'm working. And I keep finding stones that I'm not normally attracted to, and I might buy one or two. But it never fails. Somebody at the event is having some kind of emotional breakdown. They feel something they don't want to feel. Here, take the stone, put it in your pocket. Let me know how you feel at the end of the night. And they feel better. Now, is it because the stone helped them, or is it because I turned around and went, okay, I care. Here's a stone out of my pocket.
Or
Is
maybe
it
it's
all the
both.
above? Yeah.
Yeah. Crystal had a good question, and I have no idea what she's talking about. So, do you feel there's a big difference between satin spar and selenite? I know people are fussy about that.
I do not, because I also love desert rose, which is another form of selenite. Comes down to the difference between someone who has to have a stick up their butt or a stick between their legs. Like, you just
Well,
got
that was very informative.
It's like when someone turns around and goes, well, you're a witch. I'm like, well, you got to stick up your ass. I use mine to fly. What can I tell you?
No, I think that people are really quick to judge things instead of being open-minded to things. It's all about what makes life, the quality of life, better for each individual. So what works for me may not work for another. And we're too critical sometimes. We're so quick to just jump right in there and tell somebody, this is what you should do. And like, no, maybe that works for you, but this person has a whole different, they're not you. They've had different experiences, different energies than you do.
I had a customer come in. She goes, I went to psychic medium and she told me I needed red jasper. I showed her every piece of red jasper we had. Connected to none of them. She went for carnelian. And I said, did you try looking at carnelian? She went right up to one piece of carnelian and couldn't put it down. Red jasper and carnelian are both orange. They both have that energy. That beautiful, beautiful high energy.
So it goes back to the same thing. Was she drawn to the one stone because it was an impression of what she felt she had to do, or just because it was pretty and she liked it?
It's not that it was a regular tumbled. It wasn't carved. It was a regular tumbled. There was probably 30 different tumbles in that jar. She immediately put her fingers right down into the middle of that jar, grabbed one and went, this is it. This is it.
Huh.
And I see a lot of people do that. I'll tell them they're trying to find a certain one. They feel an energy coming out of the jar. They need a certain one. I'm like, go put it on the counter, easily put it out, find the one that's calling you. And that's what they do.
I think people get shocked when they do find something that resonates in there, and it's almost like when you go into a store and they always say to you, you know, I'm guilty of this because I hate shopping. If I have to go buy a pair of new pants or if I have to get a dress, I'm not going to try on anything that I'm not comfortable with. I don't like. I just okay, that looks pretty. I'm going to go home and it's my size. And like, it doesn't work. And then something outside of the box that I never thought of. Somebody says, "Hey, you know, you might want to try this." Put it on, and you're shocked that it's actually flattering and it's something you would never go for. So I
Exactly.
think we get predetermined ideas instead of just relaxing and let nature do what it needs to do. We don't
Remember,
trust in ourselves.
right? Remember, someone asked about healing and healing for cancer.
Hmm.
Golden Healer.
What is it?
This is called Golden Healer.
Okay.
Now, the reason why I bought this actually shows exactly where I get my migraines.
Really?
Exactly where I get my migraines. Same side, exactly where I get them, and it's darkest where I get the most pain. And I just thought it was the weirdest thing. Did I need another skull? No. But was it calling me? Yeah. But
What
Golden
is
Healer?
this?
Master Healer.
What is this whole thing about? You know, and I'm sure you've heard about it and stuff. With the traveling crystal skulls, and they say that it's like something alien power or whatever, and they travel all over with them, and you know, like people want to house them or go see them, and that they're supposed to affect you in some way.
I haven't heard anything about that, but I've heard that there are skulls that they have found, crystal skulls, that they're trying to figure out how did the ancients actually carve these because they don't have the tools we have now. And could it be from aliens? You know what? I'm not one to say no.
Yeah, I don't get it. So Kathy said, when I go to the crystal show, I feel physically sick when I pass by the display that have a lot of obsidian.
It might just be too much energy in one area.
And it
Or
just might be overwhelming.
it might not work with her energy like we talked about before.
So
Maybe
it's
she can
just her
go with
repelling it.
right, maybe she could go for the mahogany. I don't know. I mean, I love mahogany. I have a bunch of it all over. I have a bast statue. I have carved point. I figure with the point, I can get the hate out of your heart. Um, I mean, different stones will do different things. Some repel you, some are very attracted to.
So we're talking about a mixture of belief system with putting your intention, and
Mhm.
also the energy that comes from something that is of the earth and of Mother Nature. This
I,
is the whole basics of what crystals represent in stones and why. The other thing I want to ask you, because I think it's kind of important, and Patricia kind of made me remember this, is that she was asking about what about shells, coral, and feathers. Is there anything that you do with crystals, add to or to enhance or to? You have an altar. You and I have talked about this. Are there things that people can do besides just the stones that bring it all together?
if they love water, shells. If they love water, shells. If they're a nature baby, feathers. When you're out walking around in the woods and you find some beautiful feathers, bring them home. It's a
Night,
gift.
Kathy. Yeah. That
It's a
I thought
gift.
that was a really good question because I do think it's about your personality. I think when you surround yourself around whatever you believe in, you're incorporating yourself within what you're using, no matter what it is.
On my altar, I actually have a shell. I have a mini altar for a water goddess that has shells and shark teeth and different water type stones. My main one has the air, and I have one of Anton's friends Anton found a huge dead dragonfly and actually put it in resin, and that's on my altar. Another thing for air. I have candles for fire, but I have seeds for earth. On my ancestors' altar, I have a lot of different stones to send healing to those that are still hurting. I have my ancestor candle burning. I have, what's funny is everyone loves it, but I have a cauldron on it that's a teapot. So I have a notebook and I have pens. And if someone should come over and they're hurting and they need to speak to someone, they can write them a note and spill the tea into the teapot. And on the full moon, or the closest to the full moon that I can get when I'm here, I'll burn it so the message goes to them. And I call it spilling the tea with your ancestors.
That's pretty cool. And again, I want to go through some of these. Some people are asking some questions. Vicky wanted to know, is there a stone that can help with migraines? And you're the perfect person for this because you suffer from them.
I
Can't cure
found
them, but help, right?
I found the golden healer is helping. The golden healer is actually helping, and I boosted up with a clear quartz. And if you can find white quartz, which is hard to find because it's like clear quartz, but it's pure white, and some of them will have drusies, that will also help because it helps calm you down.
See that these are things that are important. I think it's just besides just talking about crystals and stones, there are different aspects of what can help you in your life, and to get healthy, to mentally, physically,
Hmm.
emotionally, psychologically, connecting with people if you're closed off. Crystal wants to know, do you feel that there are stones that don't work well with each other?
No, I think we put that in to everyone else's heads on it because all mine, they're all together. And mind you, they were all together under the ground, whether they were mined from the same continent or not. The Earth is one big energy ball. They all got together. They all talked. Maybe it's your energy mixing with it that maybe they don't work well together. But I have never seen like where I had to actually move them that there was some kind of energy going on that they needed to be moved.
So they're fun. They all associate and connect, and it's just fine. It's of the earth, where it's just the way it is. It's not like humans, where we just don't connect with each other sometimes, or we connect more with others. So
We can't turn around and say one of them's just being an a-hole. It doesn't work.
so believe it or not, we're over the hour mark. It went by fast. There's so much more. This was just a scratch of anything, and for all of you out there who do want to get to know Colleen, would you like to tell them where they can come and talk more in depth with you about this stuff?
I work on the weekends down in Toms River. It's a metaphysical store called Tina's This and That. It's on Hooper Ave. There Saturdays and Sundays. I do take a day off every so often, but I usually leave early on Saturdays to go hang out with Crystal and everybody to go hunt for ghosts.
Which you'll
But
be with us this Saturday.
yes, I will be there this Saturday. Are we doing scrying this Saturday?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so then I got to pack a bag. Can I give like a quick scan of my altar?
Absolutely, please do.
Okay. I don't know if y'all can see, but
And an altar is what represents you, correct?
it helps
Oh,
me connect to my deities. And if you look, all these little ones, these are all my little scrying crystals I've been out and charging on my little altar. Well, my little altar, I think it's like 4 feet long. And then if
wow.
you look over here, my bookcase with my cards and more crystals and books and more crystals and bead crystals up there. I have a
So
few.
again,
Ooh,
you
one or
guys
two.
you can't go wrong. Colleen will direct you. Colleen's very honest. She's very open. She will help you in any way. She is somebody who has come through for me on in so many ways, and she just knows. And you can't go wrong. And I believe in directing people in the place that I agree, Scott. Well done on Colleen's part. I'm proud of Colleen. Colleen knows that I know she's come a long way. And I love seeing the person she's become and what she shares with people, because she has a lot of knowledge, and we all do need to know what she knows, where she can help us and lead us in the right direction. So Colleen, thank you, my dear, so
Thank
much
you.
for sharing and doing this with us and trusting me to bring you into this and to do this with us. And for all of you, thank you for joining. And if again, any questions or anything, go see go see Colleen over the weekend at Tina's This and That. It's amazing. The shop is, if you go into the shop, and I've been trying to get where I can get down there, but I'm so busy. That shop, I've been into a lot of shops. Tina's This and That has things like you just cannot comprehend. Anything and everything is right there at your fingertips. So everybody, a good night. Please stay safe, stay healthy, and most important, please remember to be kind to each other. It matters.
Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Good night, everybody. Thank you, Colleen.
Thank you. Bye.